When you're a small business owner, you need access to the tools and support you never knew you needed. At the Dream Center, we offer co-working space and support services that elevate the everyday entrepreneur. Centrally located in the rising Soul City corridor of Chicago, we're the ideal environment, offering monthly and quarterly networking for members. Bring your idea to fruition. Expand to new heights. Call now or visit thedreamcenter.co today.
Good evening. Welcome to the Dream Center Dreaming Out Loud podcast webinar series. We are so excited. This is our final one for the month. If you don't know, my name is Marcel Action Jackson. Well, Marcel Jackson. I'm the CEO of the Dream Center Co-working and Business Support Services. As you saw in that brief commercial, we help aspiring entrepreneurs and current entrepreneurs either start or grow their business. We're located in the Soul City corridor, and there's a location in Broadview, Illinois. We are excited because this is our final webinar in this series, and usually it's on Thursdays. I look a little bit better because I give a haircut, but we had to move it to Wednesday because we got a great speaker who could only join us on tonight. And we wanted to make sure that we're bringing you tools and resources. We kicked off a 21-day challenge. And the great thing about that 21-day challenge is that you can join that challenge at any time. And the resources, the classes, the tools are all in there. You can become a member of the Dream Center, where we will support you. We will help you grow. There are some amazing things on the horizon for entrepreneurs, not only in the city of Chicago, but nationwide. And so we are so excited to be able to bring you tools and resources that would help you to start or grow your business. Listen, this is the last one. Our guest is the one of the vice presidents of U.S. Bank, Micae Brown. She'll be coming shortly to talk with us about funding, how to get funding for your business, which is very important for small business owners, minority business owners especially, who we have not always had access to capital. So she's going to be educating and talking to us and assisting us in tools and resources that she has available. What I want you to do is I want you to share this live. Of course, we originally we're going to make this for members only, but of course we wanted to just make sure as many people could get help as possible. So we made it free. Hey, Kanisha, what's going on? Thank you. Listen. Oh, yes. And Kanisha, shout out to Kanisha, who it's funny. When I first met Micae Brown and told her who I was and what I do, she knew all about the Dream Center because of members and clients like Kanisha that go on and talk about the great work that we do. So we are excited. So listen, share this live. If you're live on YouTube, copy the link, send it to family and friends, colleagues, coworkers, people that you may know. If you're on Facebook, share it on your page, tell them to tune in, share it to your groups. If you are on Instagram, thank you. We this is only our second time doing this webinar live on Instagram. Unfortunately, we cannot see Instagram comments through the software that we're using, but comment, share, let us know what you're thinking. We're excited. We're excited about tonight because I understand that access to capital is very important. So before our guests come, we're just waiting. She was having some technical difficulties, but she will be back on shortly. The number one question that I'm asked is about grants for businesses, grants for entrepreneurs, and I often people texting, I can't multitask, but that was one of my Instagram folks. I guess I can't see their comments, so they texting me the comments. But I often joke, and I've been in business now 21 years. I often joke when I first started, there were not a lot of grants for entrepreneurs, but the times have changed, the tides have changed, and there are opportunities out here, but don't wait on grant opportunities to start your business. Because if you wait, then you'll probably never start your business. So, all right, I am so excited because I don't have to ramble on anymore, although some great information I am elated. And I want to once again welcome everyone to our Dreaming Out Loud webinar series. Today, we're honored to have Micae Brown with us. Micae is the Assistant Vice President and Business Access Advisor at U.S. Bank, where she is one of only 9. I did my research. I hope I got that right. One of only 9 individuals nationwide in this pivotal role. Micae dedicates her work to addressing the key challenges faced by Black business owners, but of course, all small business owners, focusing on closing gaps in information, connections, and access to capital. Now, before joining U.S. Bank, Micae had a dynamic career at the local Initiative Support Corporation, where she led the marketing efforts for their small business lending department and played a significant role in national marketing campaign for the Entrepreneurs of Color Fund. Micae is not only a finance professional, business professional, she's a seasoned media personality and former radio host for Chicago's WVON 1690. She's a proud Chicago native and graduate of DePaul University. She brings a wealth of experience and a deep commitment to the success of small business in diverse communities. And if I might add, she is saved. I want you to join me virtually in welcoming Micae Brown. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
I am so glad you are here. One of our favorite people is tuned in. She was the first one, Kanisha Chapman.
A text. Happy to hear she was going to be. So, hey,
no, so we're going to do this a little differently tonight. And I want to make sure, I zoomed in, although I wanted to be further away, but I wanted them to be able to really see you. So we're going to kind of just have a conversation. We won't go through a PowerPoint, right? We're just going to, okay. What'd you say?
I was making sure that you could hear me.
Oh, yes, I hear you.
It's been all day.
Well, you know what? I was joking at the radio today. I said, I have all this technology and nothing is working. But that's okay. We're going to make it through. And so, Micae, you have a key role. I was blessed to meet you in the community, doing what I do best at the UNCF Gala, helping to raise money. And we connected. And then, well, let me see. I'm sorry, I kind of want to. Bloom will let me know if you look good. I felt like I was just too close. But you look. So we met at the UNCF Gala. We bumped into each other at a great economic finance conference, the Maconomics Conference kickoff event. And we just connected, and you're doing amazing work with U.S. Bank. And I was blessed recently to go on their Access Capital Tour. And it was an amazing tour. We got to visit a lot of small businesses, but I really got to see Micae's heart and passion for helping small business owners, Black business owners, and I got to see what U.S. Bank was all about. And I am now a proud U.S. Bank customer. There was no pressure. I went on my own, and I'm excited. And so we're glad to have you. And so we just want to kind of explore, bank financing options, right? One of the key issues for small businesses, and primarily in the African-American community, of course, is access to capital. Mm-hmm. So let's start. Can you walk us through, first, let's get to know you. Let's talk about why you do what you do.
Well, thanks again for having me. I'm really excited to just be in the presence of your audience. So hello, everyone. And why I do what I do, it's pretty simple. One thing that in my very lengthy and uncomfortable bio that you read, so I don't know how you got a hold of that, but I spent 7.5 years as an entrepreneur. and I ran a sales agency helping businesses grow and scale. And one of the major problems that we ran into time and time again is you can sell as many products as you want, but there is a critical point in growth where you need access to capital. And throughout my process of being an entrepreneur and helping these business owners, there was a critical moment where I saw that there was a big need. And that was the biggest relationship connection that I didn't have was with the bank and helping our business owners get connections with access to capital to grow. So the bigger you are, the more money you need. And you really shouldn't be using your money. You should be using someone else's so that you could secure wealth. So that's the first thing. I saw that there was a problem that needed to be solved, and I wanted to figure out how to solve it. But in addition to that, we are in the middle of a crisis as people. So as he stated earlier, I was on the radio for many years interviewing our business owners, and all we do is bootstrap. A lot of us, not all, like I don't, but many of the business owners that I interviewed, we bootstrapped, and we are put in very, very uncomfortable positions that we didn't need to be in. And if we had access to capital, our lives would be a lot more easier, and we'd be able to grow and scale. So I wanted to solve that problem. And that's why I took the role at Lisk. They were actually my client before I went on with them full time. And I help them with the marketing strategy, helping business owners know. And I launched their national marketing campaign for the Entrepreneurs of Color Fund. So I got into that. Like, let's help these business owners know and understand and tell the stories of business owners getting access to capital, spread the word to let them know, don't use your own money. Then I was like, man, while I'm doing this, there's more to the story of getting access to capital than a fund, because not everybody's going to qualify for the fund, or not everyone's going to know about this short period of time that this fund is around. How do we get more people involved with traditional banks and getting them qualified long term? And that's when the opportunity at US Bank came about. So US Bank made a large financial commitment, one of the largest in financial history to date. And one of the pillars of that is Access Business. And so the premise behind Access Business is to ensure that minority, female, and veteran business owners truly have all the tools in their toolkit, meaning access to connections, capital, and resources to be bankable. It's no secret that there is a huge gap, knowledge gap, connection gap, whatever you want to call it, between minority business owners and the bank. And that is one of the main reasons why you don't see our businesses thriving and hitting past that $1 million mark, or going past that 2 years. So the role. That's a long way around me taking the role and also telling you more about the program that I work with.
Well, it's an exciting program, but it says a lot about you to stop what you're doing to make a greater impact. I was going to say about infiltrating the banking, right? But just saying, hey, I need to make a footprint here to help more people and to help the bank to understand the gaps, right? I often say that when we have people, when you're not at the table, you're on the menu, basically. And so
definitely on somebody's menu.
Yes.
And it's hard to help when we aren't helping ourselves first. So throughout my experience in this role, it's been extremely rewarding, but it's also been extremely frustrating. So many of us, so let me give you an example. I had the worst experience with technology just now, so forgive me for being late, okay?
No.
I logged into my home internet, which is powered by Comcast. They failed me. I logged on to the hotspot that's powered by Verizon. It failed me, right? And now I'm on my phone. I had to set up a stand. I had to do all this stuff to be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
The key word in that is I pivoted 3 times before I had something that was stable. And I'm okay with that, right? And I'm showing up and I'm smiling. But there was a lesson learned with each pivot. many times what I've been experiencing with our business owners is that we are so caught up in the idea that we don't want to pivot, and it's costing time, money, and resources. And it's unfortunate because smart business owners understand when to take their money, take their losses, and run and take the
Yeah.
lessons. Move on. So one thing fails you, you just go, and you got to move out fast. You got to fail fast and start over again. And it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you are a loser. It actually means that you're a winner because you got out very fast. So for instance, we'll be caught up on a business name when the name means nothing. It's you behind the business, which means everything. Or we'll be caught up being the face, knowing that we shouldn't be the face. It should be somebody else that should be the face so that you can reach a broader audience. We'll be caught up in all these nuances that causes us to fail. And I'm sitting here trying to help you and give you these tidbits, and we don't want to follow instructions from somebody that's behind the scenes learning all the tidbits. So I'm getting on a soapbox right now because I've had a day just full of needing to pivot and hitting my head against the wall, trying to help other folks trying to pivot, and no one wanted to pivot today. So lesson, like, fail fast and pivot very quickly, because with the environment changing, the bank changes. So for instance, trucking was booming. Remember how
Yep.
everyone was going into trucking, right? And that was hot for a time.
Yep.
To go inside of a bank right now and figure out how to get a truck alone in the trucking industry. Had to pivot because it's not where it's hot right now. We're having to pivot as, business owners that own trucking businesses. How do you pivot now in an economy where that business really isn't successful, but you're sitting on all this equipment? So
Yeah.
understand the demands of the marketplace and follow that instead of following an idea that was hot at one moment that isn't hot right now. Okay.
Yeah. I love it. Well, that's very important. Kanisha said, amen. It is important. And when we talk about pivoting, and you're right, trucking was a big thing, and we see these fads come and go in entrepreneurship. We see it all the time at the Dream Center. Hot thing. Everybody want to come in and, hey, can you help me start this business? And it's like, okay, hey, but are you going to be able to sustain this business if, in fact, it's not the biggest thing anymore? What are you going to do? What's your exit plan? And so with all of that, what we want to do tonight is we want to make sure that people leave here bankable, right? Fundable. I want you in your, give us the good stuff, right? Let's educate people on how to be bankable, how to get access to capital, how to get funding. Because I said before you came on, when I started my business 21 years ago, the buzzword of a grant for entrepreneurs, grant was not there. It's something new. We're in a new day and age where we're creating a lot of opportunities, which is needed. But if you're waiting on a grant to start or grow your business, you may never start or grow your business, right? And so we got to get more people, more of our community, more of our people bankable, ready to get funding. And so I don't know. I got some basic questions, but I kind of want to let you because I was going to start with walk us through the types of bank financing, but that may be too boring. I want you to kind of tell me where you want to go.
I want to start from the beginnings, and I want to start at the basics, right?
Okay.
Because not everyone knows, and I'm not going to assume that everyone even knows how to start a banking relationship. And it's a relationship for a reason. The bank isn't just going to give you money because you walked in and said that you want some, just like a person isn't going to give you something just because you said that you want some.
Yes.
Spade to spade. So you have to date the bank just like you would date a person. And the relationships are very key because you want advocates inside of the bank to advocate for you. Like, I'm an advocate for you. So know that you want to do one thing, several things with establishing a banking relationship. You want to walk into a branch and you want to say, hey, I want to meet your business banker. Every bank, whether it's US Bank, Chase, BMO, all of the financial institutions have business bankers, and you want to meet the business banker. And you want to tell the business banker about your business. And you hear that I said your business and not businesses, because you taken seriously. So I know that we have a lot of ideas, and we as people think that we can do 10 things at one time, but you can't do 10 things at one time very, very well. So you take your most successful idea and you tell the business banker about that idea. The sync in like a minute or a minute or less, maybe even 30 seconds. Okay. Your pitch. But just know that you're dating them and you want to be taken seriously, and they all have ADHD, just like me. We're only taking in, certain things. You want to let them know that you're profitable. You want them to know that you file your taxes, and you want them to know that you're not commingling funds, right? And that you want to set up a bank account to establish a relationship with them. All right. Period. Number 2, when you set up a relationship with your bank, you establish that relationship with that business banker, that you also have a relationship with, every bank calls them something different, like a teller. We call them client relationship specialist or consultant, et cetera. You want to have a relationship with them. Those people will be able to correct some of the nuances that happen on your account if you make a mistake. Know that most things can be corrected if you have a relationship, but you shouldn't be doing things with your account where you need to have things fixed, because you're a responsible person with this relationship. You're not going to fumble the bag with this new relationship. 2, the bank wants you to be credible. So when you open your account, you just don't open it with the minimum. You come to the bank with commas, like save up for this business banking account, because note how much you put into this account. So if you want to get a $10,000 loan with the bank, why would they think that you are capable of getting a $10,000 loan with the bank and you can only put $50 into an account? That makes sense to you? No. So when you put money into the account, know that they're tracking everything. They're looking at this. So you put a substantial amount of money in that account, and then you have positive transactions back and forth with this account, meaning you don't have Hulu coming out of this bank account. You don't have Fashion Nova coming out of this bank account, or that Fortnite bucks, or whatever those things are called. Like, you don't do that. You have positive business transactions coming out of this account, and you keep a healthy balance. The second thing, you ask to speak to the merchant services person, because we're in a digital day and age where we accept credit cards, and you doing your merchant service processing with your bank adds credibility to your relationship. So many of you all, and I didn't know this before I came to the bank, you have more than one credit score. You have the TransUnions, the Equifaxes, all of those things. And the bank also gives you a credit score that you never know about. You don't know how it's computed, and we never tell you what that credit score is. But we're grading you based on your transactions and based on the products that you have and how you use them. So you get a merchant service account. You run all of your credit card transactions through your merchant service account. That adds credibility. Like, you're getting like kind of credit from the bank, quote unquote. It's not credit, but it's credit. So the bank can see your behaviors, and it's kind of like, all right, this one account has X amount of customers and they do X amount every single month. I can kind of trust this person. So over the course of 6 months, you can say, hey, every month I bring in $8,000 in credit card processing alone, and I deposit $6,000 in checks. Even though you have things that come out, they still know that this money is coming in, and they have proof that it's coming in because it's coming through merchant. Another tip with merchant, the bank is cheaper. They will match the price, and you get your money same day, every single day. You can get it multiple times a day with no fees. You don't get that anywhere else but your bank. So you always do multiple products with your bank, because they want to own the relationship. Just like when you're with somebody, they don't want you to cheat on them. They want to own you. The bank wants to own you too. So you have—
That's a great tip.
Complete total profile with the bank, so they can see what you got. So I know many times people say you don't put all your money in one bank. True. You have a savings account somewhere else, that's fine. But they need to see how your business works at one institution to be able to trust you with large loans, until you become large enough to spread your relationship across multiple banks. So until you're making millions and millions of dollars, you need to put your money in one place that it looks substantial. So that's the first step. You go to a bank, you build a relationship, you show the transaction history, and it's positive transaction history, and you build up that credit grade. So then let's talk about credit.
We lost you. I can't hear you.
Was that me? Or
Yeah,
was
now I can hear you.
I think that was like
Oh.
technology difficulties earlier, but I've since fixed it.
Okay, well, I got a problem with Comcast Xfinity now too.
Okay, so I know we talked about credit. Talked about multiple credit types. I know there's a lot of things on the internet that talk about business credit, talks about the importance of it. All you need is an EIN, all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. That is a lie. I'm here to tell you that is a lie. False news. Especially when you're first starting out, I don't care about your business credit. The bank really doesn't care about your business credit. You are personally guaranteeing everything. The first thing we're doing is we're running your personal credit. So when you didn't pay Comcast last year, didn't turn in the equipment, and then they reported that on your credit, that is impacting you getting a loan today. I promise you. When you don't pay Verizon Wireless on time and they put that on your credit, that is impacting you getting credit today. I promise you. When you don't have your credit cards on auto pay and you're 15 days late, 10 days late, 8 days late, that is impacting you getting credit from a bank right now. I promise you. So your personal credit means everything. Like you brush your teeth every day, which I pray that everyone listening is brushing their teeth. You need to be on your credit like you brush your teeth, because that is the number one thing stopping you from getting access to capital aside from your business actually making capital, period. You have to have a healthy credit score. The standard credit score across all banks, I would say the minimum credit score, and this is just a general credit score because this is a large audience, we can talk about this on one-on-one, is a 680.
Okay.
I don't see 680s really is a 680. We can talk more about this offline.
Okay.
So that's the minimum. You don't want to be a minimum. You want to be above the minimum. So if you need help working to get your credit score up, working on late pays. Oh, and let me also tell you, I know that there are people out there that say that they can fix your credit. Let me tell you what, when you file against the bank and say that it wasn't you, that bank now has the opportunity never to lend to you ever again. You have to be so careful when you don't do things the right way.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. Be very, very careful when you do these things. So be very careful when someone promises you the world and then it's like kind of like the quick fixing things quickly. Just know that when you file a claim against a large financial institution, it could possibly, I'm not saying this happens all the time, it could possibly come back to bite you. So be very careful when you do that. If you need assistance, the bank, we offer a service through Operation Hope, and our counselor actually sits in our Pullman branch. I can connect you with her, and she basically puts you on a credit PIP plan. Does it pull on your credit? Yes, and get you all the way together. Slow and steady wins the race.
Operation Hope is doing some great work. So that's good to know.
Yes. So we have resources for that. So 1, we're building our banking relationship. We're meeting the people in person. 2, we're getting the products. So we're showing them that we're worthy, right? We're opening up accounts. We're also getting multiple products, for instance, merchant services or treasury management, or like if we need payroll, we're running the payroll through the bank. We're not just using like QuickBooks or sending a Cash App or a Quick Pay. We're showing the bank we make money. And then we're also working on our personal credit. Like personal credit is everything. So let's say we got all of that stuff like together. And now we're like, okay, cool. I'm ready for the bank. Well, there's like a couple more steps. Did you file your taxes?
Definitely.
Okay. And then did you report that you made some money?
That's a major issue in our community with small businesses.
Yes. So I be thinking years in advance. When you first start out, I was guilty of it too. Like, I'm not going to lie, because you want to keep as much money as you want as possible. But how are you going to tell the bank that you need a $50,000 loan, but you only made $2,000 that week, that month, that year? Make it make sense. So the math is you can get 20% of your gross annual sales.
Okay.
20%. That's how much you qualify for. That's the standard across all banks. So if you're only reporting that you made $35,000, $35,000, do the math when you really made $350,000. So report your income. If you know you're going to need money, report your money. It takes money to make money. I'm sorry. Get over it. Pay your taxes. Like, there's no way around it. Get over it. Pay your taxes. Get over it. Pay your taxes.
It was funny. Just to drop a pin here. Funny note. I was in a meeting and someone said, "Yeah, I qualify." It was during the pandemic when the money was coming, and they said, "Yeah, I qualify. I would qualify for these loans that are available, and I really need it, but I haven't filed my taxes because I'm going to have to pay taxes." And I said, "Well, if you file your taxes the right way and you get access to capital, you got some money in your pocket to pay your taxes, and then you got money left over to keep doing business." And they're like, "Oh, I didn't think of it that way." Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So it's called get an accountant. Get an accountant, a real one, not somebody that does taxes. You need an accountant, a business accountant, not someone that does taxes, a business to help you get your business set up. And it's very important that you are storing your documentation appropriately. So when it comes tax time, it's not that hard. You know, you don't have to pull all this paperwork together. Everything is stored in a safe place. So there's software like Expensify, or where you scan your receipts, it gets plugged in directly to your software and your expenses are there. Like, automate your life so it doesn't get complicated at the end of the year, and it makes it simple. If you need to do your taxes quarterly because it makes it easier and it's a softer blow, then file your taxes quarterly. Ensure that you're actually set up appropriately. A lot of us started LLCs. Maybe an LLC isn't right for you. Maybe you should be an S Corp. Like, who knows? That's why you need to talk to a business accountant to make sure that you are set up appropriately. Okay.
Yeah.
File your taxes. Then sometimes you're going to need to present a business plan. So if you're under 2 years old, but you're actually making money, you qualify for an SBA loan. But the SBA could possibly ask you, and you shouldn't even be operating a business without a business loan, like without a business plan. You should know what you're doing and you should know how you're making money. You should have a business plan with projected financials. So you need to build that out. You need to know what your business is doing, who your target audience is, how you're going to sell to them, what the marketing plan is, the strategy, etc. Get a business plan. We all know the Dream Center will help you with that. And financial projections. So those financial projections are going to help the bank understand how the business works and how the business is going to make money in the future. So then they can say, okay, based on this plan and this market research, then we trust to give you this amount because we think that you're actually going to make some money in the future. Mm-hmm. Here's the other thing. They're also going to see if you're actually a credible person. So if you're under 2 years old, you need to have proof of concept. So if you were in construction and now you are doing nails and you want to open up a nail salon, they're going to be like, make this make sense. It's not the same industry. But if you work for a construction company and now you're breaking off and doing your own construction company, right? And you're laying your own tile and you have all of the contacts from before, it makes you a whole lot more of a better candidate for lending because it's the same exact industry. So just know that if you're starting out and you're doing something new, you're going to have to explain why you're going into this business and the type of experience that you have, just like you would a job interview if you're under 2 years old. Now, if you're above 2 years old, it's a whole new world because you've kind of proven proof of concept, and there are a plethora of products that you can get into from the jump. And what I also forgot to mention in the beginning, when you start your business relationship, get a business credit card. Everyone can get a credit card. It's also about like building your credit, right?
You said everyone can get a business credit card on day one?
Yes.
Oh,
Pending that you meet the credit standards.
right. Okay. I wanted to say that for the ones in the back that are about to run to the bank and their credit is not that great yet.
Pending.
Because...
So get a business credit card so that you can start building that history with the bank and they can start understanding your behaviors. I also want to tell you, do not run that credit card up and pay off the minimum. You use it and then you pay it off. Use it and then you pay it off. There's a such thing as a high value credit card. So you can get limits like up to like $30,000, but how can you earn a limit like that if you keep a high balance on your card? Don't do that. Use it, pay it off, use it, pay it off. Have good spending history. Don't spend the money because you don't have the money. You spend the money because you don't want to use your cash. You want to stay liquid and you pay it off at the end of the month. Okay.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
So do you think that entrepreneurs, the ones that are listening and say, hey, I don't have the credit personally yet, but I have the money. I'm going to open an account. I'm going to put $5,000, $10,000 in the account. Should I take another $5,000 and get a secured business credit card?
So I think that $5,000, I don't really like credit cards. Here's my personal, I think there, I don't know if there is, we don't have a secure business credit card. We have a secure personal credit card.
Okay.
There are some institutions that have secure business credit cards, but I think that $5,000 could be making money in a money market account while you're working on your credit.
Okay. That's a great tip.
So right now they're offering like over 5%, or at least it's a minimum 5% return on your money. So, and that just shows a balance on your product. So it's another savings account on your profile that's just showing racks on racks. So you got $5,000 in a checking, $5,000 in a money market, so I would actually have that money making money as opposed to having it being held somewhere, not making any money. You could work in your credit another way. That's one thing that you don't do. Okay. Back to, you threw me off. Where was I?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we were talking about I was going to say money market. Well, we were talking about business credit card and you were moving on from the business credit card.
Oh, okay. So once you hit 2 years, you have a plethora of options for you. Once you hit 2 years, you hit the minimum credit standards you can apply for a variety of things. And one of my favorite things for business owners is equipment finance. So equipment finance is where it's at. It is one of the best products that banks have to offer, one of the best products that U.S. Bank has to offer. I can only speak to the U.S. Bank product. So number one, with equipment finance, you don't have to bring your business plan. You don't have to bring 2 years of tax returns. You can get up to $80,000 in equipment with 20% over with soft costs with no documentation. It's a phenomenal product.
Can you explain soft costs?
Like, let's say you need to buy marketing software, marketing collateral, paper. Let's say you need things that that aren't equipment that are associated with the equipment.
Gotcha.
Tablecloths or whatever is associated with the equipment that isn't equipment.
Okay, just wanted for people that don't know, because a lot of people don't think, and this is for our audience, right? Our target market, small business owners who don't understand the whole banking industry and finance industry. So they're saying, "Oh, I don't need equipment,"
Yeah, you
but
do.
they don't know what equipment actually covers, right? Can
Equipment.
you just talk about a little bit of that?
Yeah, we can take back. So anything like, let's say you need to furnish your entire office. So what you're sitting on right now, that's equipment, that's furniture. Or
Yeah.
say you need new stoves. Let's say you need a trailer. Let's say you need I don't know, registers, computers. Like, equipment is equipment.
Yep.
So anything with a serial number, basically, that we can take back and resell is equipment. So
Yeah, that's a great tip. People are not thinking, mate. You're looking for those lines of credit and credit cards to go buy the equipment because you didn't understand you can get equipment financing.
right, and it doesn't have to like that. Like, you used up your line, you're getting an equipment finance loan. So and it's a soft pull on your credit. It's not a hard pull. So you don't even get a hard inquiry for equipment finance. This is why I love it. So you didn't get a hard pull. You got up to 80 without documentation. Anything over 80, you have to show 2 years of tax returns. And you get 20% over for soft costs. I mean, it's a win is a win.
Yeah.
The bank loves things that they can take back. Those are always, assets are great. Just like the bank is really good at commercial real estate. So that's equipment finance. Then also you just talked about line of credit. So let's move there. Instead of using your own money, you use a line of credit, right? You use that, let's say, pay payroll, then you pay that back. Let's say you need to pay your vendors. Let's say you have to buy supplies to create, let's say I have a cupcake place and I buy supplies in bulk.
Mm-hmm.
Your supplies in bulk and then pay that off. Lines of credit are great so that you don't use the liquid capital that you have in an event that something crazy happens. You stay liquid, but you make sure that you pay it off. You do not keep lines of credit high. The bank can always lower your amount of the line or close the line if you misuse your line. You can take the line of credit and use it as like cash. So you can like take a check, write it as a check. You can use it any way you want. So there's lines of credit, and then there's also secure loans, which are great for small business owners. All of which you can get in a variety of ways. It's just, I just need everyone to meet the minimum credit guidelines. And you have to be profitable. So when I say profitable, I mean show profits on your profit and loss statements. Your tax returns can't show that you are consistently not making money.
Right.
So it's important to now step your game up and start showing profits on your tax returns. God forbid the bank asks you to show your documentation. In not all cases you have to.
Well, that's an amazing tip. Also, well, everything you've been saying is amazing. Look, I don't have a pen to take notes. I hope everybody else is taking notes. Bloom is definitely my assistant. Is taking notes for us on the back end. But you said some great things, and the equipment financing is a tool that I have to be honest too. I have not consulted people on using that as a resource or the first thing. I know about it. I know companies that only focus on equipment financing, right? And it is usually a lot easier to get. But even if it's just furniture, and I didn't know about the soft costs. So 20% to do some other stuff with is, that's pertaining to the equipment. But you're going to need paper, you need ink, you need chairs for your desk, you need tablecloths for your tables, whatever. Software that is not cheap. And for those of you who are paying your software monthly, you get the equipment line, you can pay it up for the year, so those are great tools. And then I just wanted to touch, you said as long as, there's a plethora. So you answered like most of my questions. So the first one was the various types of bank financing. I had how important is it for business owners to establish a personal relationship, which I preach that every day. I'm grateful to have great relationships with my bank and now my new bank. And, I always joke, I say, I walk in the bank and you would think I got hundreds of millions of dollars in the account, the way the bankers take care of me and the bank staff. And so, but it's also a tool that if I have an issue where, hey, oh my God, I would never do this, and it's never happened. Oh, Mr. Jackson, it's okay. We'll take care of that for you. Because you don't want those blemishes on your record either, because then it affects you on the long run. And then there may be someone new at the bank that don't know you and just looking at your report. So, so we talk practical tips and techniques. For business owners who have been denied funding before, what strategies would you recommend to them to rebuild their approach and succeed? I know we talked about building the credit, but I know a lot of people who will come in the Dream Center and say, I applied for a credit card once and never got it. So I've never tried again. What are some other practical tips or steps that they should be taking?
Well, you get denied for a loan, and I work with a lot of our business owners that get denied. I need you to ask the banker why and help them walk you through what happened. And they're supposed to do that. So you need to know why so that you can put yourself in that position. If you don't understand the why, then how can you fix it, right? What was it? And what part of the credit policy didn't you meet? So you have to ask those questions. And then you need to work on that why. So if it was, okay, you aren't in business, sometimes we'll hear length of credit history.
Yes.
And sometimes it is time. Like if you are applying for credit with a bank that you don't have a relationship with and your credit history isn't long enough, it's going to impact you getting credit and it's just going to take longer. And my recommendation would be establish a relationship with that bank or continue the relationship with the bank and start having positive relationships with them, meaning putting money in, having good behaviors, etc. If it was credit, I need you to go and fix whatever it is that's impacting your credit. Writing the letters to the bureaus, etc. A lot of times it will be
and not lying.
A lot of times it'll be like the late pays. And so it could be something as simple as you pay your Visa card every month 8 days late. That will impact you getting credit. So calling the credit card company and saying, hey, I'm trying to get credit and I'm sorry that I pay. How can we get this off my credit and bring me up to date? And I have scheduled to be on auto pay. It's get on auto pay. So having a human conversation and not stopping until you get it right. Or let's say there's some other reasons like I've had some people, bankruptcy is a huge issue. So if you filed bankruptcy, it is going to be hard to get a traditional line of credit with a traditional institution. There are alternative solutions. So depending on how you filed bankruptcy, where you filed it, when you filed it, those are going to be the nuances. So sometimes the bank will deny you because you recently filed bankruptcy or you filed a bankruptcy that impacted them in a negative way. So if that bank took a loss, so when you filed, that particular bank took a loss, you may not get credit. You may not be able to get access to credit. But then there are other resources. So then you can get credit at a non-traditional bank to start. You can get a secure loan with multiple draws at a community development financial institution. It's a bank without deposits. I used to work with one, LISC. So there are other institutions that you can start at and then graduate out of there. So those are some things that you can do.
Well, thank you. So I love that you love to share testimonies. From I'm churchy, so I love testimonies. But can you share, if you can think of one, just a success story of a business that that built a strong relationship with either U.S. Bank or any other bank, and how it helped them in securing funding and sustaining their growth? Yeah. So you had a client that didn't meet all of the plateaus, but because of a relationship.
Yeah.
And you don't have to say any names, of course,
Right. So I had a business owner that came to me last year in the restaurant industry. Mm-hmm. And this business owner was in the juicing industry. And she actually went to several different banks and CDFIs and couldn't get funding, which was really unfortunate. She wanted to start a storefront. She had was doing it out of her home in a kitchen, et cetera. So she showed revenue. I was like, listen, put money in all the things that I shared with you all. Mm-hmm. Put money in the account, start running your merchant so they can see how much money you actually make. And I need you to file taxes this year. We did all the things that I literally just shared with you all. And her credit was like a 750. So personal credit wasn't the issue. Wow. We started with equipment finance. She got a credit card with us, which was great. And then I was like, in 3 months, I was like, I want you to apply for equipment finance. She applied for equipment finance. And then I was like, cool. In 3 more months, I want you to apply for a secure loan and a line of credit. She got over $100,000 in both. And this was over the span of a whole year now, where we started with just establishing a relationship with a business banker, checking savings, put some money in a money market, right? So she had this great profile. She did merchant services, had those transactions coming through. So she did that for a whole quarter, then did an equipment loan, had positive pay. Another quarter goes by. Then she does a line of credit and a secure loan. And she couldn't get financing anywhere else. And she had a great credit score, no late, none of that. So, and her juice bars on the south side. So all that to say, it's really important for us to know that things like this take time. Sometimes we have to be patient, and it's best to start now when you don't need any money versus going when you need money right now. So go establish a relationship with the bank, set up your merchant services. So if you're already having customers, start showing them how much money you have. Get your ducks in a row now before you actually need it, because when you need it, it's too late. Like, the bank doesn't want to give you money when you need money. They want to give you money when you have money. So get your money now and get your ducks in a row now before it's too late.
And you know what? I have had relationships with bankers. I've interviewed bankers on the radio. I think, and not because you're just so dope either, but this has gotten to be the best banking conversation I've had with a banker, because you really did just drop some knowledge, right? Siobhan said, this is really great information. And I did want to say, because you know what, it's going, one, I love talking about money. Two, I believe if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Mm-hmm. And so that was a great tip. So I didn't ask if anybody had any questions, but if you do, we try to keep it at an hour. But if you have any questions, drop the questions in the box before we get out of here, because like me, we don't always have and I'm telling you, I've had some great conversations, but I guess if you're not asking the right questions, then you don't get answers. It's not just going to come out and educate, but Micae was here with a specific goal to educate. And that was strategy like I had never thought before. You know, when I teach people is, hey, go build a relationship, go talk, be nice, get your credit straight, save you some money. But I did not know about the other nuances of our internal credit score with the bank. Having, I'm guilty. I've been asked, we're all asked, would you like our merchant services department to call you? And it's like, heck no, I'm keeping who I got, although I'm sure they're higher than the bank, as you said. So those are great tips. So building the relationship now. And so the reason we launched this series actually was to prepare people for this final quarter of the year, which would then in turn have them ready for what's to come in 2025. And so now it's September the 25th. You guys have this last quarter of the year to start building this relationship. So by the time you go into to 2025, you can start with some equipment financing because you got 3 months. You've done everything that Micae has said to do tonight in the next 3 months. And so come January, you're ready to, if you launching a brick and mortar storefront, or you like me, ready to open this next Dream Center location and we need furniture, computers, you got 3 months to really build that relationship.
Tell you, if you want equipment finance, you have to be 2 years in business. That's 2 years. Remember.
Yes. Yes. 2 years. So let me ask this. If a business owner came in with great credit, finances in the bank, but the business is not 2 years, is there still a possibility of them being able to get equipment finance?
You can't get equipment finance, but you can get financing. It will just go through the small business administration portion of the bank. You can still get financing.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you know our credit policy guidelines.
Well, I love it. I always tell bankers, hey, when these programs are coming out, just tell me what you're looking for from our clients so we can make sure they're ready before we send them, right? And so that was some great information. Any questions? Hey, Sharice, I know you're late. I shot you a text because I knew this was great information. I wanted to make sure you got it. Siobhan, thanks. She said this is really great information. Sugar, excellent information. DJ Brandon, that is so amazing. Listen, Micae, before we go, I would be remiss if I didn't allow you just a moment, some time to really talk more about your program, the Access Pro. Am I saying the title wrong? And I'm looking at my notes. Technology. Look, this technology paper. But the U.S. Bank program where you guys are investing and just some of the great reasons why people should come. Look, shout out to U.S. Bank. They did not pay for this slot. This was me inviting Micae. But whenever someone or an institution is doing good work in the community, I want to make sure they're highlighted and have a platform. And so because just like myself, we're doing banking with other banks. And we may not pay attention to another one. So if you could just give us a little, and then that was going to be the last thing, Sugar. How can we contact Ms. Brown? Because I know everybody would like to connect with you.
Awesome. So the Access Commitment Program, I said it a little bit in the beginning, but how we work together with business owners is really just to walk them through how to navigate the banking system and how to establish relationships through access to connections and access to the community resources that we have available to ensure that you are bankable and ready to get access to capital. And if you can't get access to capital traditionally through the bank, my job is to make sure that you are deal ready, whether that is through helping you get credit assistance through Operation Hope, like I stated earlier, or perhaps is putting together your business plan and projections with finance, partnering with the Dream Center, just truly that 360-degree to make sure that you are set up for success.
I love it. So Noble Tech Cuts on Instagram. Now this is when technology works. I got 3 phones open on my desk right here. How much should you start your money market with?
How much do you start your money with?
Should you start?
Oh, I don't have an official answer for how much you should start your money market with. I would deflect that question to you meeting with one of my favorite business bankers. And so let's have that conversation one-on-one with one of my favorite business bankers.
Okay. So the next question, if anyone wanted to connect with the great Micae Brown, Miss Brown, how do they connect with you?
My first dot at US Bank. So what you see on the screen, dot last name at usbank.com.
Okay, look, we are all typing it. I typed it, Bloom typed it. I want to make sure. No, not the brunch punch. We'll do Action Jackson. Okay, so listen, this was great. Any other questions before we go? This will be available for replay. Thank you all for tuning in. Micae, if you needed to leave these entrepreneurs with one good tip, one good word of encouragement, whatever you want, look, come in your own way with a final thought.
The thought is pivot, get out early, and come to the bank early before you need us. That's it.
Well, just like that, mic drop. Listen, thank you once again. We have had the pleasure of having Miss Micae Brown, who is a business access advisor. Oh, I'm like, pivot and get out early. That's it. I'm putting that on the t-shirt. So if you see me walk in the bank with that, don't tell nobody I stole it from me. But Micae is the assistant vice president and business access advisor at US Bank. She is here to help anyone who is ready to help themselves. How about that? Because you have to be ready to work. Faith without work
is dead.
And I've added an addendum. I kind of switch it up. Faith without works don't work.
It doesn't.
So listen, you got to work your faith. And so we appreciate you coming. We're looking forward to some great partnerships coming between the Dream Center and US Bank. Look, Sugar said that shirt is already done. Sugar is a printer who does some great work. Shout out. Thank you for tuning in. So listen, Micae, we're going to let you go. Thank you for joining us. We're only 5 minutes over. Hope you will join us again. We got to do an in-person workshop.
I would love it.
Follow on Facebook. Follow US Bank.
Me at Micae Brown at first name and last name. Don't be come on, the plug.
Okay.
You already talked about me and my followers. Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, follow. It's gonna be an exciting time. All right, Micae. Thank you so much. You have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Hey, Dream Builders, listen. All of our webinars have been amazing. We kicked off this month with speaking to an attorney, India Rios. Then we went to an accountant, Stephen and Essence Keys. And after we got your legal business structure right and we got your money right, then we had Kiana Barber come and talk about marketing and branding. And so that's the way your business should go. You should be legally structured right. You should have your finances right. You should have your marketing, branding, all of that right. And then finally, you should have a banking relationship with your bank. Shout out to Chris Parker. Wintrust Bank is tuned in. Yes, we have to keep building. And BA, forgive me for not remembering the name right now, but he has a great business association out in the western suburbs. another advocate trying to do the work. But listen, I hope you take all of these tips. Whatever bank you're with, take what Micae Brown taught tonight. Build those relationships with your banks. Get the different accounts. I can honestly say I've done it a little bit wrong. I got great relationships, but I didn't know about making sure I had all of the different tools, and I'm using them to show them that I am to help build their relationship. So I'll see you all on the next one. You guys have a great evening. You have a blessed night, and make sure you follow the Dream Center for what's coming up next at Dream Center CHGO on Facebook and Instagram. Good night, everyone.
When you're a small business owner, you need access to the tools and support you never knew you needed. At the Dream Center, we offer co-working space and support services that elevate the everyday entrepreneur. Centrally located in the rising Soul City corridor of Chicago, we're the ideal environment, offering monthly and quarterly networking for members. Bring your idea to fruition. Expand to new heights. Call now or visit thedreamcenter.co today.